What goes on in the male mind? Is it a vast wasteland of stuff? Are the thoughts only of food, sports, sex, over and over again? You see, your mind as a man is the most powerful part of your body. And if you want to be a man of action, it all starts up here. So we're going to figure out how to be men of action by starting in our mind. Let's jump in. I used to play football back in the day. Now, I was a big kid and could have played very well, but I had a problem that affected my playing. I was incredibly insecure. I was always worried about messing up and looking bad. I was worried about letting people down, and it affected everything I did. You see, I was so worried in my head that it really affected how I played ball. And this can happen to all of us as men. You see, we get things going on in our brain and it affects how we live our life. So what we have to do is know that action starts in our minds. When we can learn how to control our minds, we can control our actions. One of my favorite World War II generals, George Patton, said, "You're not defeated until you admit it." You see, being a man of action starts in your mind with how you think. And what you think about drives your actions. Patton understood that. He said, as long as you don't give up, you'll actually never really be defeated. A man's motivation is what drives his action. You see, if you're motivated by selfishness and glory, your actions are going to show it. We see men throughout history who achieve great things only to self-sabotage because of their mental focus. See, a lot of men, as they become more and more successful, it becomes all about them. They kind of become the center of their own universe in their minds, and so their actions show it. They think that everybody should do what they say because they think they're the smartest person in the room, and that's how their actions go. So what you want to do as a man is begin to even notice what you're thinking, then you'll learn how to act. Now, some men, their struggle is with a negative mindset. Their mind is always thinking of the worst case scenario. And a lot of times that'll come out in their actions. They expect bad things to happen, and when they do, they feel justified. Why? Because that's why they were thinking. They thought the bad was going to happen, and it did. You see, for these men, it's hard for them to enjoy life. And they're kind of tough to be around, honestly, because they're always pointing out the negative. They're always pointing out what's wrong. And what you have to do as a man is understand that when action starts in your mind, you don't want your mind to be focused on the negative. The fact that action starts in your mind is why purpose is so important for men. You see, if you're motivated by a purpose greater than yourself, your action will show it. You'll be a better man because of it, because your mind is focused on your purpose and your action will naturally follow. You see, men who live with a purpose are men we all want to follow. You think of great men throughout history, a lot of them were men of purpose and other people followed them. And those are the men who change history. Those are the men who affect destiny. And a lot of men, they think everything is about luck. Well, that guy's just lucky. That guy just happened to have it happen. It isn't luck. It's often what's going on in your brain. So what you want to do as a man is start thinking the right way. Start thinking with purpose, and your actions will follow. Because your actions always follow your mind. And where you allow your mind to go, your actions, they're going to follow. You see, George Patton said, "You're not beaten until you admit it." What he's saying is your actions will follow what your mind says. So what you have to do as a man is quit admitting defeat and allowing your mind to sabotage your action. What you want to do is grab control of your mind and tell it how it's going to think. And when you do that, your actions will follow. To help you on your journey as a man, check out davidthemaxwell.com. We put all kinds of resources in there to help you as a man so that you can have purpose and you can live your life with focused action. Now, George Patton, my favorite general, understood this, and he worked to change the mindset of his men first before he did anything else. When he took over a new command, he often did it in very strong and somewhat outlandish ways to show that a new mindset was needed. One time he was taking over this one command, and he and his men showed up in jeeps. They were dressed all up. They had horns blowing. Everybody knew the new guys in town. And he got out and told all his officers that they were going to do a full pack hike, and they were all required to do it. But if they didn't want to do it, if they wanted to transfer, he would let them do it. Now, a lot of these guys weren't in the best of shape. This was during peacetime. And so what they did, they put in for transfer. They didn't want to hike with George Patton. They didn't want to be around him, so they left. The ones who didn't showed up, but the fact was they didn't have full packs. It was during peacetime, and they didn't have all their equipment. So Patton walked out and he said, well, we can't hike without the proper equipment. Let's go eat lunch. You see, his purpose wasn't the hike. His purpose was willing to see who had the mindset to do the work. He knew that if he could get the men with the right mindset, their actions would follow. So when you start working on your mindset, your actions will follow. I guarantee it.